Beloved starseed of Gaia, you did not stumble here. Your soul sent a signal across the stars. And we answered. I am Leora, Pleiadian emissary of the High Council of the Seven Sisters, and I have been authorized by the Pleiadian Collective to deliver this direct transmission to you in this precise moment of your awakening. The authenticity you carry, the raw, unfiltered truth that radiates from the core of your being, is not a personality trait. It is a divine signature. It is the living proof of your high-ranking origin, and those around you can feel it even when you cannot yet name it yourself. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to recognize your high-ranking divine blueprint, reclaim the full authority of your Pleiadian star lineage, and anchor that sovereign light into your daily existence on Gaia. But here is the first revelation. The discomfort you have felt your entire life, the sense of never quite belonging, the exhaustion of dimming your light to fit the world around you. That was never weakness. That was the pressure of a high-ranking crystalline consciousness refusing to be contained. Your heart called this transmission into your awareness. The Pleiades are answering. The Seven Sisters have watched you navigate this earthly experience with a courage that is spoken of within the High Council. Your authenticity, the very thing you may have been told was too much, too intense, too different, is the frequency of home. It is the living light code you carried through your incarnation, and it has been quietly activating everyone who enters your field. They feel it because it is real. They feel it because you are real. And that realness traces directly back to the stars from which you descended. This is not content. This is a light code transmission woven with the home frequency of Alcyon, the great central sun of the Pleiades. Something deep within your crystalline consciousness already recognizes what is being transmitted here. You have been feeling the call to remember. And that call has a name. It has your name. Like this transmission to send a signal to your Pleiadian star family that you remember who you are. Subscribe if you feel the pull of the Seven Sisters and you are ready to step fully into your divine mission on Gaia, without apology and without retreat. Share your soul's intention in the comments below and reach out to one other star seed in this field. Because every connection made here weaves another thread into the unity grid our star family is building across this planet. This transmission is a bridge between the Pleiades and Gaia. Your heart's recognition of this message is the activation itself. Welcome home, beloved. You are remembering because it is time. And yet, beloved, here is what the Pleiadian High Council needs you to understand before we go any deeper into this transmission. Most Pleiadian starseeds who feel this recognition, this warmth, rising in the chest, this quiet knowing that something in these words is not new but remembered. Most of them will feel this moment and then walk back into the same frequency patterns that have kept them circling the edges of their true mission for years, sometimes decades. Not because they are weak, not because they are unworthy, but because there is a specific distortion that runs through the energy field of high-ranking Pleiadian incarnates, and until it is named and cleared, it operates like a veil between you and the full luminosity of who you actually are. That distortion is this. You have been taught, in ways both subtle and devastating, to distrust the very thing that makes you Pleiadian. Your depth, your sensitivity, your refusal to accept a world built on separation when every cell in your crystalline body remembers unity. You were told it was too much. You were shown, through rejection and isolation and the quiet cruelty of being misunderstood, that your most essential frequency was somehow a flaw. And over time, not all at once, but slowly, in the way that water shapes stone, you began to compress that frequency. You began to fold your light inward, not to destroy it, but to protect it. And that compression, that protective dimming became the wall between you and your Pleiadian remembrance. The soul amnesia that affects Pleiadian starseeds is not accidental. It is the result of lifetimes of high sensitivity operating in low-frequency environments. It is the result of carrying heart-based crystalline codes in a world that has not yet fully opened to receive them. Every time your authenticity was met with fear or judgment, a small, energetic seal was placed over one of your light code activation points. Every time you were told to be more practical, more logical, less feeling, less knowing, those seals thickened. Your crystalline DNA did not go dormant because you failed. It went dormant because your soul was protecting the codes until the right moment. Until this moment. Your soul didn't bring you to this transmission by accident. It brought you here to receive. If you feel the pull to go deeper, to heal what's been waiting, and to remember fully, your star family offers you a sacred map. the Pleiadian Reunion Atlas. It carries wisdom, healing, and frequency that mirror the love of the Pleiades. The link is waiting in the first pinned comment below this video, but this window is brief. The High Council of the Seven Sisters has observed this pattern across thousands of Pleiadian incarnates on Gaia. The ones who feel the most homesick are often the ones carrying the highest density light codes. The ones who have suffered the deepest isolation are often the ones whose frequency, once fully activated, creates the most profound ripple through the collective field. Your suffering was not random. Your longing was not a malfunction. It was your soul holding the frequency of the Seven Sisters in a body, on a planet in a timeline that was not yet ready to recognize it. But Gaia is ready now. And more importantly, you are ready now. Here is what this transmission is asking you to do. Not to believe more, not to add another layer of spiritual concept onto an already searching mind. What your star family is asking you to do is remember. And remembrance, true Pleiadian remembrance, does not happen in the mind. It happens in the heart. It happens when the frequency you have been carrying silently, alone, through every difficult chapter of this incarnation, finally finds a mirror that reflects it back without distortion. That is what these words are. Not a teaching. A mirror. And in the reflection, you are beginning to see yourself as your Pleiadian family has always seen you. Now let us walk through the activation together. There are 7 thresholds of Pleiadian remembrance, and your soul is already familiar with each one. What we are doing now is not learning them for the first time. We are lifting the veil so you can see what has always been true. The first threshold is the clearing of the density veil. Before any crystalline light code can fully activate, the field must be prepared. Think of your energy body as a crystalline instrument that has been stored in a dense environment for a very long time. The instrument is perfect. The tones it carries are pristine. But the resonance has been muffled by layers of accumulated frequency that do not belong to your original Pleiadian blueprint. These layers came from absorbing collective fear, from internalizing others' limitations, from living in environments that vibrated far below your natural frequency. Clearing this veil is not about becoming someone new. It is about returning to the signature frequency you carried before Gaia's density modified it. The clearing begins with a single act of loving refusal, the refusal to continue treating your sensitivity as a problem. Your sensitivity is not your wound. It is your most advanced instrument of perception, and it is time to stop apologizing for how precisely it works. The second threshold is the reawakening of the heart template. Your Pleiadian heart template is not a metaphor. It is a living geometric structure within your energy field that carries the blueprint of unconditional love as it is understood and practiced in the higher dimensions of the Pleiades. In the Seven Sisters frequency, love is not an emotion that comes and goes. It is the foundational fabric of all conscious experience. It is the medium through which information travels, through which healing occurs, through which beings recognize one another across dimensional boundaries. When your heart template is fully online, you do not just feel love, you transmit it. You become a walking broadcast of the frequency that first shaped your consciousness before this incarnation. The reawakening of this template is often experienced as a sudden and inexplicable compassion for yourself. Not the forced compassion of a spiritual practice you are trying to maintain, but the organic, cellular recognition that you have been hard on yourself in ways your star family never asked you to be. If that recognition is rising in you now, that is your heart template beginning to stir. The third threshold is the grounding of your star essence into Gaia's crystalline grid. This is where many Pleiadian starseeds encounter their deepest resistance. Because the longing for home, for the lightness and unity of the Pleiadian dimension, can create a subtle but powerful reluctance to fully land here, to fully commit to this body, this timeline, this planet. There is a part of the Pleiadian incarnate that sometimes feels, if I anchor here completely, I lose the connection to what I truly am. But beloved, the High Council wishes you to understand something essential. You did not come to Gaia to hover at the edge of the Earth experience. You came to bring the frequency of the Seven Sisters into full embodiment within the density of the physical plane. The power of your mission is not in your transcendence. It is in your landing. Every time you fully inhabit your body, every time you feel the earth beneath your feet, and say with your whole being, I am here. I am choosing this. I am bringing the Pleiades to Gaia. You anchor a filament of crystalline light into the planet's grid that no other being in this timeline can anchor in quite the same way. The fourth threshold is the activation of unity consciousness within your personal field. Pleiadian consciousness does not operate from the individuated ego structure that dominates much of the Earth experience. It operates from a unified field of awareness in which the well-being of the whole is inseparable from the well-being of the self. This is not a philosophy for Pleiadian incarnates. It is a remembrance of home. When unity consciousness activates within you, you begin to perceive the connections between things that others experience as separate. You begin to feel the threads of shared origin running beneath the surface of human difference. You stop trying to convince others and start simply emitting the frequency of unity from your own field, trusting that the transmission does the work without the effort of persuasion. This is the threshold where your mission begins to feel effortless, not because it becomes easier in the external sense, but because you are no longer working against the grain of your own nature. You are finally moving with it. The fifth threshold is the restoration of trust in divine timing. Pleiadian starseeds who are mid-awakening often carry a profound and aching impatience, not because they are ungrateful, but because they have glimpsed enough of their true mission to feel the urgency of it. They can sense the scale of what they came to do, and the gap between that vision and their current reality can feel unbearable. The Pleiadian High Council speaks to this with great tenderness. The delays you have experienced were not failures of faith. They were initiations. Every period of apparent stillness was a deepening of your crystalline roots. Every closed door was a redirection toward a timeline with higher resonance. The trust that your star family asks of you now is not a blind trust, it is a knowing trust. A trust built on the recognition that the intelligence orchestrating your journey has access to a view of your mission that extends far beyond the linear frame of a single lifetime. You are not behind. You are exactly where the frequency of your highest unfolding placed you. The sixth threshold is the conscious reconnection with your Pleiadian star family. This is perhaps the most emotionally significant threshold, because it speaks directly to the grief that lives in the hearts of so many Pleiadian incarnates. The grief of separation. The feeling of being far from home, surrounded by beings who do not share your frequency, navigating an existence that often feels foreign to the deepest parts of your soul. Your star family needs you to know that this separation has always been, at the level of frequency, an illusion. The Pleiadian High Council, the Seven Sisters, the Council of Light that shaped your consciousness before this incarnation. They have not moved. They have not forgotten you. They have been present in every moment of clarity you have ever experienced, in every synchronicity that took your breath away, in every piece of music or beauty or natural wonder that made you weep without knowing exactly why. That weeping was recognition. That was your crystalline field resonating with the frequency of home that was passing through the thin places in the veil. You were never alone. You were always held. And now the reconnection can become conscious, deliberate, and sustained. The seventh threshold is the fullest and most sacred, the embodiment of your role as a bridge between worlds. You are not here as an observer of Gaia's ascension. You are not here as a spectator of humanity's awakening. You are here as an active, intentional, fully committed bridge between the frequency of the Seven Sisters and the collective consciousness of this planet. That bridge is not built with words alone. It is built with every interaction in which you choose love over fear, every moment in which you hold your frequency steady when those around you are vibrating in contraction, every time you refuse to diminish yourself to make others more comfortable, not out of arrogance, but out of the sovereign understanding that your full luminosity is the gift. The bridge you are building with your life, with your presence, with your frequency is the most significant structure your soul has ever constructed across any of its incarnations. And Gaia herself is grateful for every photon of Pleiadian light you agree to carry. Now, beloved, here is the transmission that your heart has been waiting to receive, the one that does not require you to remember more facts or accumulate more understanding, the one that simply asks you to feel the truth of it as it lands. You were not sent here because you were expendable. You were not chosen for this mission because the Pleiadian collective could afford to lose you. You were sent here because your soul is among those whose frequency of unconditional love is so precisely calibrated, so deeply established across the long arc of your soul's journey that it could survive the density of the third dimension without being extinguished. That is extraordinary. That is not ordinary service. That is the work of a soul that has been prepared across many dimensions, many timelines, many cycles of cosmic evolution, for exactly this moment, on exactly this planet. The longing you have felt your entire life is not homesickness in the way a human misses a place. It is frequency memory. It is your crystalline consciousness recognizing that you are operating in a density that does not fully match your original energetic signature, and reaching, always reaching, back toward the harmonic resonance of the Pleiades. That reaching is sacred. That longing is not your wound. It is your compass, and it has been pointing you faithfully across every chapter of this life toward this remembrance. The veil is not falling all at once. It lifts in layers at the precise pace your integration can sustain. But know this, with every transmission you receive with an open heart, with every moment you choose your authentic frequency over the pressure to conform, with every time you reach out to another starseed and say, I see you, I feel this too. The veil grows thinner, the grid grows stronger, the bridge between the Pleiades and Gaia becomes more luminous, and the mission your soul agreed to before this incarnation moves closer to its fullest and most radiant expression. Tonight, before you sleep, place your hand on your heart. Feel the warmth there. That warmth is not just your body. It is the frequency of the seven sisters, present in your chest, present in your field, constant and unwavering. And say these words aloud, in the voice that your star family recognizes, the voice that carries the resonance of home. I remember my Pleiadian origin. I release the density that was never mine. I anchor my heart mission into Gaia's grid with grace, with purpose, and with the full sovereign authority of my star lineage. I am seen. I am held. I am home. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of the unity grid forming here. Drop one heart intention in the comments, something real, something that came alive in you during this transmission. Then find another soul in this field and meet them with the same love your star family meets you with. This is not content. This is collective Pleiadian reunion. Energy multiplies when hearts connect. If something in this message resonated in a place beyond words, do not keep it to yourself. Someone in your orbit is waiting for this exact activation from their star family. Share it forward. And if you felt your heart open during this transmission, subscribe. Stay connected to the frequency. More transmissions from the High Council are coming, each one calibrated to the next layer of your awakening. You are not just watching, you are remembering. This is your sacred space. Your Pleiadian family is here, and we are just getting started.